In today's video, I remove clear foil from metal parts, try to make a 2-layer sketches, remove some unnecessary plastic. As well, I add a few wires for spark plugs. I paint wheels. I make minor modifications to engine section. And I spray some black lines with the airbrush. Hello, fellow modelers! It is finally here. The MiniArt recently released its first aircraft kit. I couldn't resist, and I purchased the advanced version, of course. As you can see, the box is full of plastic sprues, including detail engine, gun base, flaps and many bombs or fuel tanks. Therefore, there are more parts than we are used to. The surface details are lovely, and the molded rivets save some time. I think I can make this model straight out of the box this time, because I don't know what to improve. I am gluing parts with the super thin glue, which evaporates fast, and I use only a small amount of it so it preserves fine details. You can use super glue instead, but parts joint deviation is tight. This thin glue partly dissolves plastic and allows more straightforward part fitting. Maybe a designer Easter egg? I like that this advanced kit contains metal parts for the cockpit, but also improves bombs and engine. The cross for gun sight is small detail, but I wouldn't be happy without it. Two-side adhesive tape is great for attaching small bars. It allows more comfortable handling while painting. Or poster gum. I recently tested 2-layer sketches effect, and I want to replicate this technique here as well. The real cockpit was primed with the chrome yellow, and the top layer was probably deep cockpit green, at least according to photos. I sprayed under each layer chipping varnish, which caused the paint layer to be less resilient and removable with water or toothpick. It is fun, but I struggle to resist not to remove all the paint. The seat was made from plywood, so I sprayed brown paint first. And toothpick is a great tool for fine scratches. This is 48 scale model and the details are hardly visible, but with some patience and small brush you can make them more pronounced. Another great plus for MiniArt is the decals printed by Cartograph. The resolution is amazing and the printed layer is super soft, so you can hardly see transparent film around. Look what we have here, 3 types of instrument panels. One is whole pre-colored, the second is also in one piece but has only instruments, and the third type has each instrument printed separately. The last one looks like fun. I use decal setter for better fitting. After application, I use decal software, which helps to precisely set decals. In addition, I am painting small balls and buttons. For this precise work I use DaVinci Red Sable paintbrush. The black shade is nice, but is too uniform, so it is good to paint more shading with a dust shade and scratches with a deep black. The last step is to imitate cover glass with a clear acrylic varnish. And this is the result. The seat belts are also included, so it remains to paint them. I use acrylic paints for shading and weathering. I like them because they are odorless and dry fast. And working with them is pleasant. Sorry, I couldn't resist. I am cutting out cover panels with the razor saw, because I want to design and make minor improvements to the engine section. I use super glue because the plastic on the rudder is thin, and extra thin glue can create sink marks after some time. The kit details are splendid. Okay, the wing's construction is quite complex. Only one wing has more than 40 parts. However, I am happy, because I do not like simplified details at the expense of the easier assembly. I considered replacing ammo belts with the more detailed ones, but I guess it will be nice after painting and shading. I was slightly skeptical about fitting due to many parts, but it seems alright. I want wings with only one ammo box opened. The part has raised details on the edges, so I must remove them with a metal file. Now more funny details. Pratt & Whitney 2800 is beautiful engine. It is included in the kit, so it remains to add a few wires. I struggled to make 9 same pipes. I found easier to design them in 3D and print them. Also, if you have a 3D printer, it will help you. The link for the printable file is in the video description. I mixed silver paint with a gloss white to achieve less shiny result. I use Mr. Color Super Metallic Lacquer paints because they are resilient and nicely smooth. I'm making details more pronounced with the black enamel wash. It dries faster and makes softer shading than oil paints. I saw many kits, but this engine from MiniArt is crazy. Honestly, it is better than some resin ones. These pipes are not exhaust, but pipes from air distributor, so do not paint them rusty. I'm imitating only accumulated dirt with oil paints. Some pictures have these pipes painted gloss black, so it depends on you. The fitting is tight, and I was forced to use more pressure. I must add wires for spark plugs. I use 0.2mm LED wires because they are nicely flexible. I prefer them more than copper conductors. I recently switched from Loctite superglue to M3 Scotch Weld Instant Adhesive. It is much stronger and more durable, making it great for small parts. Each cylinder has 2 wires, so I needed to attach 36 wires. It is time-consuming work, but it makes engine more detailed and exciting. These are exhaust pipes. I'm trying to imitate the rust effect of the acrylic paints. I paint small dots and blur them with a flat brush. Around the edges and bends I use darker paint because the oil from the engine has accumulated there. However, it also works like a shading. I used spare decals from the instrument panel as an information plate. The last part is cover holder frame. Some photos have this frame silver, but the typical base yellow shade makes it more interesting. And this is the result. If you consider that it is an engine straight out the box, only with minor improvements, it doesn't look bad at all. I prefer filling seam lines with a flexible black superglue. It is more stable than putty or plastic, so it does not create sink marks after some time. I am restoring panel lines with a razor saw. I prefer this tool more than some scribers, because you can make a straight line freehand without template. The tire pattern is after filling inconsistent. It requires some patience and precision, but it is no difficult task for a razor saw. The thin glue nicely removes dust particles and slightly bevel edges. An interesting section is behind the engine, however it is not included in the kit. So I decided to draw and create a new detail kit. I used Blender Free Editor because I like how complex it is and how you can modify it with the add-ons. The detail kit contains 21 parts, designed for the best printing result and comfortable painting. Making the detail kit took me a few weeks, so thanks to my Patreons for supporting this work. The scratch build from styrene profiles would be probably faster, but not so precise and detailed. The design or the whole printed kit is available for my Patreons or on Cult3D. The links are in the video description. The primer smooth printing layers and sandpaper unifies them. I think the pipes from the compressor make the model more enjoyable. Available is also bonus video with the more detailed construction tutorial, which helps you to assemble and paint this kit. I thought this huge tank was for fuel, but no, it was an oil tank. I tried new mobile 3D scan technology to achieve a better design precision. Therefore the fit is relatively precise. Seven small pipes are tangled up into the engine holder. There is only a little space left, so it is a nice puzzle. I will add more small wires after painting. Now let's finish the rest of the model. You can use spare gear parts as a mask. I attach them with a poster gum. Painting wheels is easy if you have a cutting compass. I sprayed the center and covered it with the circle. Enamel paints are great for dust shading, because you can wipe excess paint with a thinner and have a lovely matte result. Scratches with black acrylic paints makes the texture less uniform. A nice detail is a red strip for wheel position. I prefer painting yellow propeller ends first, because you need fewer layers and masking is also easier. I sprayed silver lacquer paint first and then over acrylic black, which is less resilient. This allows effortless scratches with a toothpick, and more stains with a highly diluted acrylic paint. It is basically dirty water. You do not need masks for this model, because making your own is easy. You need only a sharp blade and be precise. It is good to use a strong light that highlights edges. I use thin masking strip for large round shapes. It is safer than cutting. It is reasonable to clean the surface with isopropyl alcohol and micro cleaning cloth before painting. It removes grease, dust and paint splatters. I made only small surface improvements, so I sprayed primer only on seam lines and edges. The primer reveals imperfections like thin marks or scratches. The fuselage is round, so proper filling is important here. You cannot say that under is some seam line. Do not forget to restore panel lines on the leading edges. The round shape is difficult to restore if you do not have a template. Therefore, I recommend some scribing templates from Edgar. I have expensive scribing needle from Tamiya, but an ordinary tailor's needle works the same, so you don't need to spend a fortune on these tools. It is also good to restore bolts with micro drill bits. I have this from AliExpress for a few dollars. And rivets on the fuselage. I made my own riveting wheel from old watch gears. I have a video tutorial if you want to make something similar. Or you can buy more precise and professional tools like Be Easy riveting wheels. The whole model will be silver, so it is good to paint pre-shading with a highly diluted black paint. It will make the surface optically less uniform. I use Mr. Color's Super Metallic Silver. The main reason are good coverage properties. The paint is resilient against weathering and decals chemicals, and gives smooth silver result. Also, the layer is not smooth as an alcat, so it covers minor scratches and imperfections. I found a good trick. Measure and position invasion strips with a masking tape, and then place the rest of the masking tape around. This way, you can achieve a strip size consistency and good orientation. I decided on the plane with invasion strips on the wings and fuselage. I am spraying white paint first because achieving full opacity on the silver is easier than on black. It means thinner paint later. The real invasion strips were painted freehand, but they used masking tapes and the mechanics were quite precise. So I also tried to measure everything precisely. Try to spray paint only in soft layers that dry fast. The thick and wet layer can easily soak under the mask, which you do not want. Again, the acrylic paint is not very resilient, so I can make a soft scratches with a toothpick and water. No chipping varnish is needed for this effect. I think one of the best metallic shades for paintbrush is Agama alcohol-based paints. They are also polishable if you want to achieve more shiny result. I am fixing the surface with a soft layer of a clear acrylic varnish. It is also a great base for water slide decals. I already mentioned that I like cartograph decals, but this is more serious test than instrument panel. The engine covers have lovely chessboard marking, and apply decals on the round shapes is always funny. There are basic rules if you working with decals. Try to use hot water. It's something like 60 degrees Celsius. It will make them more flexible, which prevents cracks. Then use decals chemicals, which makes them even more flexible and helps with easier positioning. There are many details, so it is good to use a decal software. I like this one because it is not too aggressive and works great with a cartograph. And there are still a lot of folds and bubbles, therefore I use hairdryer. The heat makes the decals more tense and flexible. It is the same effect as a hot water. So with a clean brush, hairdryer and decal setter, you can nicely smooth the surface and copy round shapes. A large part of a star decal should be on the ammo box cover, so I gently cut out the rectangle and place it on the part. Handy is to use a very sharp blade. The clear decal film is smooth, so you cannot see any edges and everything looks like it's sprayed. Oh, I forgot one thing. The decals are partly transparent, so you can see the transition between black and white strips. One option is to mask and paint white circles before applying decals. I don't have any left now, so I must smooth the black strip on the star with acrylic white paint. And another smooth layer of a clear varnish, which fixes and unifies the decals. I am painting soft scratches and stains with a highly diluted acrylic paint, because the surface is too uniform. The wet paint layer looks very pronounced, but the shade will be different after drying. Next step is to make the surface details more noticeable with a brown oil paint diluted with a enamel thinner. I try to use only a small amount of oil paint and a lot of thinner. The cleaning is easier and the final shading is not too strong. You can make the bottom side of the aircraft more dirty with some stains and leaks. I am blending excess oil paint with a enamel thinner. The ammo box cover missed some labels, so I used spare decals from the kit. Crew and mechanics had a lot of work with the P-47, so you can expect many surface scratches on the wings. I removed plastic gun barrels because I can make better ones from hypodermic needles. They are available in many diameters and are very strong and cheap. I do not want to make a crazy weathering this time, so only a smooth smoke shading from gunpowder. And dirt from exhaust. I use highly diluted acrylic paint. The dilution is vital because the shading is then nicely smooth without splatters. You can always make more layers if you want a more noticeable result. The toothpick seems like a handy tool for this build. The model is almost finished, only a few wires are missing. The gear and engine have a nice wire scheme in the instruction manual, so you don't need to look for some photo documentation. The wheel brake has no wire scheme in the manual, so do not forget to make this one. I like included metal parts for bombs. It has a better shape and is thinner than the frame made from plastic. Also, there is a small lovely propeller. The real bombs were usually quite messy with many scratches and stains. They probably store them on the grass or dirty ground. I am making the shade lighter with a pastel green. If you add more water and blend it with a flat brush, then you achieve a nice inconsistent surface. And small scratches with a sharp paintbrush. All these fine details make the model more realistic and interesting. A real aircraft can be extremely messy from the bottom side, but I don't want to make it like this. Therefore, I'm painting soft stains and few oil leaks with a dark brown oil paint. I prefer oil for this because the pigment is very soft and drying time is slow, so you have a lot of time to modify the shape of the stains or smooth them. Final weathering effect are soft splatters from the wheels and engine. I am missing clear lens for formation lights, therefore I'm drilling small holes and making clear cover glass from 2-component epoxy clear putty. A few details remains, and with them the model is done. I am glad that MiniArt decided to make aircraft models, because they are well designed and enjoyable. And primarily you can make lovely detailed models without expensive resin improvements. Only one exception is my 3D design, which is not costly. Suppose this model looks difficult to you or you want a clean one. In this case MiniArt also has a simplified version without gun base, a detailed engine or flaps. I hope you like the result just a little bit and that I motivate you to make your own Thunderbolt. Thank you for watching, to my Patreons for support, and see you next time.